hard-fought football game. Played a good football team. Two teams battled. They made more plays down the home stretch than we did. We rushed for about $170 something, threw for 2 something, had 373 yards offense, but we did a few things that were uncharacteristic of our football team. We turned it once over at the very beginning of the game on a tip ball. We turned it twice over in the second half, once on an interception, once on a fumble. And I felt like in our plan to win, special teams are critically important, but between a penalty and some poor kickoff coverage, we put ourselves in bad field position. And that's the tale of the game. In the second half, we were on the long field. They were on the short field. Started off with our poor coverage to open up the second half. So we all know that we can't turn the ball over. We had 3 turnovers, like I said, 1 in the first half, 2 in the second half. So all the stats and all the yards, that doesn't mean anything. When you turn the ball over, you put yourself in harm's way. And when you don't control the field position through your special teams, you put yourself in harm's way. And those are things that were uncharacteristic of our football team, and those are things that we did today. We got a talented football team with a bright future. You know, we've got some really good team speed and some playmakers. Obviously out there today in this kind of conditions, you know, it comes down to it becomes a real, you know, back and forth kind of game. And, you know, you're looking for your plays as you can get them. And I thought, you know, we had a fair amount of offense based on the weather conditions that we had out here. But I think as we move forward with the young playmakers that we have, the speed that we have on our team, and the explosiveness, I really like where we're headed and where we're going to be. I feel bad for our seniors. They wanted to close this thing out, as every team does in the bowl game, on a high note. But we were in a tough football game, and we'll learn from that game, and it'll make us stronger. And it'll continue to improve us and make us a better team as we roll into the next season. And so we're looking forward to a great offseason, a great spring, and a great summer. Love our football team, love our players. Heart breaks for them in the locker room right now. But this is a high-character outfit with a lot of pride. And they'll learn, we will learn from this game, and this is going to continue on our path to making us the team that I think we can be. So as hard as it is to walk off that field right now, give credit to Iowa. I thought they did a great job, and good football team, really good football program. I think both teams battled and played their hearts off out in that field. Good, really good bowl game. And so with that, I'll take any questions.
You can just raise your hand. I'll get the microphone to you.
Yeah, Julian. Well, I mean, that opening play, you know, Tommy got held, and I think Charlie fell down, and, you know, we're getting acclimated to the conditions, and we tipped the ball up. They made a play. I mean, as I said to the guys, I knew that would happen in this game. I mean, this was going to be a game where there was going to be some ups and downs, and everybody's going to have to kind of hunker down in the weather and the field conditions, and it's the same for both sides. So that, you know, that play was a play that can happen in those kind of conditions. I thought there was other plays that were made that were good throws, good plays. You know, towards the end there, you know, I mean, it's just that kind of game. I mean, I don't know, you know, what all I know we were 370-something yards, I believe. Is that an accurate statement? I don't know what Iowa had. 200. I mean, I thought we moved the ball, and given what the conditions were, I thought, you know, for a guy like AJ, who is a hard, put your foot in the ground drive guy, it was hard on him out there tonight. He wasn't able to really do that. You know, he's kind of like on ice, and you know, made some good runs, but, you know, those traditional, like I said, when you get a big power back like that, sometimes that wants to plant and drive as hard as he wants to plant and drive. I thought that became a little bit more difficult. So I say that because, to answer your question, we had to throw the ball a little bit, and I thought Darius did a good job of managing all that.
Coach, what happened at the end of the first half there with the field goal attempt with time on the clock? Seemed like a little rushed.
I don't know why. There was the clock was stopped. And I'm not sure what happened with the communication out there, but it appeared as though the ball maybe was snapped before the operation was ready to roll. I mean, I thought we did a great job of managing that whole situation, getting the ball down in perfect position down there to kick a field goal. And, have to go back and take a look at exactly what was the dynamic there. There was no rush. There was no time constraint. There was nothing. I wanted to save, I had a timeout there and felt like, well, if we had a bad operation problem, I could call timeout and reload it again. But I don't know. Shouldn't have been any issue. Like I said, the clock was stopped. I thought we handled it and operated it until that point with the snap as good as you could operate that situation. We were aggressive with it and wouldn't have changed anything we did other than the fact that we looked out of sync on the field goal.
And then, Coach, you're thin on linebacker corps going in already, had some injuries. Just how did that affect the second half?
Well, we lost Kevin Bletzer. And, as you said, we've already gone through 4 linebackers. And it's duly documented. I mean, we're paper thin. We could ill afford to lose another linebacker. We played a true freshman in Isaiah McDuffie, who we think is going to be just a fabulous player. So, he's played very sparingly, really, mostly on special teams. But I think he's going to be just an excellent, dynamic, explosive guy. And he went in there and, had to take over the reins. So there was, we had nowhere else. There's nowhere else to go. I mean, that's it. That was our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th injury there. End of the year, that's where you're at.
Just talk about the Wade-Sweeney combination. I mean, you've been seeing that almost back to spring ball 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What's the chemistry between those two?
I mean, I just think it's, I think Tom's a hell of a player, and, we're trying to feature our tight ends, and I thought he did a great job. Darius hit him with some good balls, and he made some good catches and some good runs. And I thought he was in the end zone on that last one, but, he got walked there at the end. But he's an every down player, that guy. I mean, he is a true every down player, and sometimes he probably needs a blow, to play the way as physical as he has to play at the POA and as a blocker, and then also down the field as a pass receiver. He's a heck of a football player.
Take 2 more questions.
Just talk about defense again, Steve. It seemed like you get them, 3rd and 10, and they would get a chunk play on you. It seemed like they just had like 4 or 5 chunk plays that influenced the whole game.
We held them at 200 yards total offense. I mean, we let up a couple big plays. I think the field position, the defense was put in compromised field position, as I talked about earlier. But, I mean, if you said you're going to go into the game and hold a team to 200 yards offense, you'd like your chances, right? But, we let up a couple of big plays, as you pointed out, and you're 100% accurate. And, they came back and haunted us, plain and simple, And, it doesn't matter if you play great for 60 plays, you can't give up a couple, 3 big hits. It's the same old story, But we got to do a better job of not giving people that short field, right? That was our kickoff coverage has been excellent. That is very uncharacteristic. We had guys out there on ice pattering their feet. And, our whole thing is speed. We've got really good team speed. And we get down the field with great coverage units, and I felt like we were pattering on ice out there on our kickoff team. I'm not really sure why. I mean, I know the footing wasn't great, but I just all of a sudden, we played in a manner on our coverage team that was uncharacteristic of who we are.
Obviously, you talked about the future of your team, and right now your mind is on the result of this game. But looking toward the future, you mentioned the speed, you mentioned the playmakers. With AJ, his name's going to be on the short list for a lot of awards next year and in the future. Is that something that you have to manage ego-wise, or how do you approach that going into next year?
I mean, we're dealing with a high-character, great kid who I think totally understands. He's not an ego guy. I mean, I know there's human nature. I think, it's our job as coaches. But we have a pretty centered, balanced team and a program and a university. Our university is a balanced university. And it's not just all about football at our place, It's about everything. It's about academics. It's about, making a difference in people's lives. And it's about competing at the highest level on the athletic fields. So, I mean, I think as a whole, our place is very balanced, and I think our kids have a tendency to be really balanced. And I think we're dealing with high-character guys, and AJ is certainly a very high-character guy. So, and our program's wired in such a way that, a big ego's not gonna survive. I mean, you're gonna be challenged every day to maximize yourself. So, that's a good question, and a very reasonable question. But I feel good about our future, and I feel good about how AJ will handle the accolades and the attention. I really, more than anything else, our place is about the team, and that is not going to change. It's just not, and we got a lot of guys that can make a bunch of plays. So I couldn't be more proud and more excited to be around our players. Every day I come to work, I feel like just very grateful and blessed that I be around a bunch of guys that I'm around. And I've been around a long time in a lot of programs. So when I make that statement, I'm not just saying it like flippantly. It's the best group of guys I've ever been around as a whole. And really, really are wired together really well and have their priorities straight.